Dawson Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my next Dawson's Top 5. This time, Top 5 Best Power Rangers Team Suits. As I said in my worst one, I am doing team suits for this, meaning that it's the overall theme of how the suits fit together and like their look as a unit. Not necessarily only that, but I mean I'm going over like which designs I like overall for a series. I will likely do a top 10 individual suits later, best and worst probably. That will make sure that the videos can't be confused and sort of, I felt it easier to separate the two because I do have distinct favorites where sometimes I like a suit individually from a series but don't necessarily love that series overall. And in the case of this, it allows me sort of to pick a series where I like so many suits, and that'll sort of prevent me from cluttering the top 10 list with so many from the same series, if that makes any sense. And also, as I always say at the beginning of these videos, this is my personal list. This is my personal best, and in the case of the other one, personal worst, and not a definitive list. And again, it probably will not help me getting hate comments. Okay, so with this, I'm going to start with honorable mentions. I really didn't have as many honorable mentions, or any, for the worst list, because there wasn't very many that I disliked enough to put on that I wanted to spill over, or like Tokyuger was one that I feel like people were expecting on that but just didn't make it because I actually kind of dig those in a way. Anyway, so the honorable mentions, the Gokaiger suits. The Gokaiger suits are some of the best looking suits ever in my opinion. They just barely miss my top 5 and in some cases rotate in between them, but they're so good looking and sleek, and they achieved so many things with them in my opinion. Like, they managed to pull off the pirate look perfectly and made it look sleek and cool and sexy. I mean, for God's sake, they have essentially a pirate hat incorporated into their helmets and it makes it look cool, which doesn't seem doable. And I love that the visors are the intertwining swords. I love their logo. I like that they have the pirate jacket look incorporated into their suits, which simultaneously is cool for the pirate theme, but also allowed them to do the collar, which was a visual cue reference to Go Ranger, which I thought was really neat. They're just really sleek and sexy suits, and they just narrowly missed this list. The other one is recently a one that was usually on the top 5 but was knocked out recently, which is the Ninja Steel suits. And I really like those suits a lot, and it's a shame that both series associated with them are such crap, but they're really awesome looking suits. They all have this really awesome uniform look with the sashes. All the helmets are unique, and I love that they're shuriken, and I like the surrounding silver details, and they all look kind of like, I keep using the word sleek in a way, but like I like that design of it. I in particular really like the White Ranger suit because I think it's really cool with like the pink outline and stuff like that. It's just, those are really awesome looking suits, some of the best looking ninja themed suits in Sentai, and it's unfortunate that neither Ninja or Ninja Steel is a show worthy of those suit designs. Okay, now on to the actual top 5. So number 5, this is going to be a bit of an odd choice, I feel, for some people, because I never really see this as being someone's overwhelming favorite. And it's a bit of an odd choice for me too, because I usually prefer the animal or more mythical suits. So that's like a huge prerequisite to me even saying the name, which is the Bokenger / Operation Overdrive suits. This is one of those series where I can explain why I like the suits, but also it was just kind of hard to describe because it's just one of those ones that clicked with me for whatever reason. But there is certain reasons I can't explain, is that the helmets in particular I really like. I feel like I'm going to use this word a lot, I apologize, but they look so sleek to me, and I love how unique they are, where they're like a traditional sort of tech-based team visor, but they have this unique flair to them where they sort of jut out, and there's this interesting, like, slanted angle to the way they look, and all the visors look unique, and yet they fit together. And I like the mouthpiece not being lips. And I don't know, they just always really worked for me. And I liked the suit as well. Like, I liked the white line diving down it. I feel like the suit logo is perfectly placed. And it's funny because I like the metal shoulder pads or whatever they have, but they tend to come off looking cheap a lot in the suit, but I do like the placement of it. So it's one of those ones where I can explain it, but also it's just kind of one of those unexplainable things where the suits just clicked with me, and I recognize it's an odd choice for me, but I just really like them. Number 4 is Uchu Sentai Q Ranger, which does not have a PR counterpoint at the moment, obviously. This was the one that knocked Ninja off the list, and I thought quite a lot about this because some of the suits on this, for example, like Bokengers and then my number 3 are ones that made the list also because I feel they flow together really nicely as a unit, especially the core 5. And I feel like Q Ranger does flow nicely together with all 9 or 12 of them. Like, they don't look out of place together, but I feel like they don't necessarily flow together as seamlessly as Bokengers or my number 3 choice. But, and like not in like a horribly bad way, but like that was my point of going on this tangent is that was my sort of internal struggle of whether to put them in my top list, because some of my reasoning behind the top 5 suits was how they flowed together as a team. But ultimately, they do work together well, and maybe while not quite as well, I think it's a testament to how they work together well because of how different they are. And that's what I like about Q Rangers, is how they do fit together thematically, with obviously something like Ho Soldier standing out the most, but while also being so standout, and with some having certain standout details more than others. I mean, you know, Washi Pink has wings, Yellow has like the elongated, like, basically, you know, swordfish horn. I don't know if that's the right term, but and then, you know, you have Blacks, who is super like large, almost looking like a non-ranger in a way to make up for the way Champ looks. Not make up, you know what I mean? Like, it's just it's a larger scale bulky suit, which you don't really get. Garu's has the velvety material on it. Scorpion has the tail. You know, Kotaro has his buttersock scarf. It's just, I love that they all stand out so uniquely with something special about them, and I love their helmet designs too. I mean, you got the sparkly stars on them, and I love how unique they went for it with some of the designs, because some of them are similar or directly animals or creatures we've gotten before, but like Garu's, the wolf is such a different take on it. Same thing with the phoenix, and the bird for Washi as well. It's like, it's hard to explain, but it's like just not the typical what you would see. Usually we'll get like, oh, this is like the face and then the mouth is the visor, but they're just such unique takes on it. And I also love the more armored look to them too, which was part of the design of working with Bandai of America, because we kind of tend to not like as much spandexy things here, and I like the incorporation of that. They just work so well together, and I have so many standout favorites of them, and I can't promise one or possibly more of them won't make it on my top individuals. Like, for example, Sasori Orange is one of my all-time favorites because I love the way his helmet looks like a scorpion and a question mark. I think that's so cool. And Ryu Commanders is so awesome too, with the dragon and the gold outlining, and just so many standout favorites in this one was why it made it. That's what ultimately set it over. I'm like, do they work well enough as a unit? I'm like, yes, they do. Ultimately, because of how different they are, and manage to still work together. But also, there's just so many standout individuals. I feel like I've gone on too long about Q Rangers, but they really are just great suits. Okay, number 3 is Tenso Sentai Goseiger / Megaforce. These, I just really like these suits. I always have. I think they just look so clean and sleek in a way, but just like almost like holy, which is the point because they're angels, but they just, there's like this presence to them I really like. Like, I love the vested look, and the golden trim on the vests combined with their individual symbols, although, you know, some of them share symbols, obviously, and the golden look just gives them this really royal almost look to them, and then the gloves almost looking like, you know, fancy party gloves. And the helmets, I love the helmets. They all stand out individually, and like, I love the side design on each of them. And something I really liked for the Megaforce aspect, you know, back when we weren't sure how PR was going to celebrate the anniversary, and everyone's like, just skip Gokaiger, and we could go a whole video on the whole skipping debacle when we couldn't and now we can skip. But I wanted them to do Megaforce as the anniversary because I like that the suits really convey that MMPR vibe, which is distinctly like the iconic look of early PR. But they aren't the MMPR suits, if that makes any sense. Like, the helmets convey it, like they're the perfect representation for the 20th anniversary, where they convey the look of MMPR, but they don't look like they're trying to be MMPR, because, you know, they have the visors and the mouthpieces, but they are so distinct from each other. And I just really like these suits, and in particular the core 5, I feel just flow really well together. Number 2, Juken Sentai Geki Ranger / Jungle Fury. I really like these suits a lot. I in part initially had an attachment to them because it was my first Sentai, but my main reason behind liking my top 2 is how unique they are. And the Geki Ranger suits were really unique. I mean, we didn't have a belt. It was the first time it just kind of flowed together like that. I loved little details like that Scratch was like a sneaker company and they had like the sneakers on them. And I loved the look of having an animal-based suit, but with sort of a tech-based sleekness. That is the word of this review, hashtag sleek. But like, I liked that, especially like with the early suits, like they had this kind of pulled back look where it looked sleek, but it was clearly an animal. I loved the individual stripes on them, the unique changers, the way they were incorporated. And then I like that the power-up sort of showed that this was a base, and then the power-up sort of accentuated the design to almost a complete look, if that makes any sense. And the white and the turbines really flowed well. And I like that they had the sort of whiskers being highlighted. It was like the finished version, which I thought worked really well. And then stuff like, you know, Geki Violet was sort of like a normal suit, but he incorporated elements of what the super ones were like, with the fur whiskers look of the wolf in it, and then his unique design where it fit in with the core tee, but also had that boxer look. And then Geki Chopper also stood out as being really different than the core team. Honestly, the helmet was very different, but also retained that mix between an animal but also a sleeker rhino look, and the fact that his suit also was kind of like a traditional karate outfit was really cool. And then this is also the Spirit Ranger suits. I absolutely love the Spirit Rangers design, the way they were able to convey that animal and almost tech-based, not tech-based, but you know what I mean, look between it. And they all looked so unique and cool. I mean, Bats looks like an awesome Batman Ranger, and I've also always really liked elephants because it seems like such a hard animal to make look like a sleeker helmet. Again, sleek, it's just hard to think of another word. And I really like the base designs, which we never got, which were only in figure form, but the master designs look really great as well, and those are just such standout unique suits in my opinion. Okay, number 1 for me is Tokume Sentai Go Busters, which is the other one on this list which doesn't have a PR counterpart. Q Ranger could very well and very likely will get a Power Rangers design, but Go Busters has been skipped. I don't see us getting something like this. Who knows, maybe in the future they could do a comic Easter egg, but for now, it's unfortunate because of the amount of PR references that were thrown into this. But I love the Go Busters suits for multiple reasons. The main 2 being I love how unique they are in terms of they did away with the spandex looks and had more of a pleather look to it, which I think really worked well for the sort of agent-y look. That's an official word, agent-y. And I just really liked that standout unique choice to sort of, you know, I like the boldness of going past that and not necessarily doing the spandex. Q, that is not spandex memes, and I loved that. But I also liked, it sort of overflowed for what I liked about Geki Ranger / Jungle Furies was this mix of animal and tech. And this one was even more deliberate, whereas I feel like Geki Rangers was much more of this is a more animal-based theme, but it's just kind of more of a, you know, modern approach to the way it looks, as opposed to a direct animal approach, whereas this was a clear tech and animal-based look, and I think they achieved it really well, where it conveyed the animal-based elements, but also looked very technological and very secret agent-like, and I love the way the visors looked. And the colored visors are ones we don't get too often, and in a way I'm glad we don't, because it makes those suits stand out, and I loved having the colored visors, and the way that they were different from Time Forces, where they kind of had a shine to them. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how awesome and sexy the Dark Red Buster suit is. Like, it's one of the best looking suits of all time. But anyway, that is my top 5 best team suits. So let me know what yours are, what you think, agree, disagree. Just don't, I know this won't stop anybody, but please do not be like, why isn't this on this list, as if it's a definitive list. This is my personal list. And like I said, down the road, this is videos targeted to go out in November, December, depending on how things go. So likely sometime after the first of the year, I will do a top 5 best and worst individual suits. So look forward to that. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for supporting the top 5 videos. I really enjoy making these. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Dawson Ryder, signing out.